thousands of squats.
I just peed, bro. Yeah. You don't want to hit this. This with 600 pounds on your shoulders, bro. That you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that at all. So today we're going to explore a tragic story about a 17-year-old champion powerlifter, a woman, or really, she's still a girl at 17. You know, she was a very young woman who was tragically passed away because she was ego lifting in the gym. Crazy story, cautionary tale, something that all of us gym goers should keep in our minds whenever we're in the gym, especially if you're somebody who likes to lift heavy. So let's go ahead and check this out.
Coach Greg, in today's video, it's very sad news in the powerlifting world. A champion powerlifter, a teenager, female, she's only 17 years of age. She's no longer with us due to ego lifting in the gym.
Yeah,
now,
man.
this woman, she's very strong.
Ego
She's only
lifting
17.
will get you every time.
Her raw max squat, 160 kilograms. That's over 350 pounds.
That's crazy.
And her equipped max with squat suits, knee wraps, and so on, it's 240 kilograms, which is 520.
Imagine squatted 500 pounds, bro. Most dudes can't squat 350. Let's keep it a stack. I mean, I'm not even sure I could squat 350 right now, bro. In fact, the last time I squat over 350 pounds, I got hurt. And I'm 6'5", 210 pounds. This is a 17-year-old chick. So very impressive. What happens next, though?
9 pounds. And so that is a lot of weight. But for some reason, her coach, whoever, decides it's a great idea to try to squat 600. Now, she has no business going for this weight.
Crazy.
But, hey, perhaps they're trying for a 1-rep max, trying to PR in the gym, doing quarter squats and so on. But when you're going for this kind of weight, you need to have the proper spotting equipment. Yeah. And a coach standing behind you to help hold up the bar, when it's 600 pounds, it's not going to be enough. I don't care if it's the world's strongest man, Mitchell Hooper, it could be Thor. This is not going to be enough. And so
600 pounds, bro. This is crazy weight.
So many things that took place that are wrong that I want to highlight these things, to point them out so that you never make the same mistake. The first thing I want you to notice, she's standing on a bunch of mats, perhaps 2 inches off the ground. The reason for this is because the squat rack was set too high. And so if you're working in with a partner who's taller than you and you can't reach it, don't place mats on your feet in order to get the bar out of the rack. Tell them, look, I'm a short king. You have every benefit in life. You're taller than me. On this day, we're going to go with my height. You can bend down a little bit, bend your knees, and unrack it like that. And so the reason she's doing this is because she's not tall enough to unrack the weight. You really think she's going to take 600 pounds on her tippy toes and unrack the weight like that? And even still, notice the placement of the bar. She's squatting high bar. It's really high up on her neck. Much less stability. When I squat low bar. I place the bar below my neck, more along the sides in the back of my body.
Yeah, I remember when someone taught me that. Changed my life, bro, when it comes to squatting. You don't want the bar resting right up on your neck, man.
Something were to go
wrong. You can do it, but like Greg is saying here, a lot more stable when it's lower on your traps.
I can simply drop the weight behind me. In fact,
the time I got hurt squatting, right? The time I got hurt, I'm actually working on an animation about that, animated story time. Check out my animated story time channel, Young Don Animations. And this time I got hurt, good thing I was squatting low, like the bar was low on my shoulders. So when I failed the squat, it was easy to bail out of the squat. You have that thing up on your neck, you start to fail, that shit will pull you down.
Accident, the weight is so far up on her neck that if the weight begins to move forward, it's going to push forward on her neck. Next, the spotter never holds a person like this. What kind of spotting is that? He really can't do anything but perhaps massage her shoulders. This is not going to help lift the weight off the rack. He's not going to be able to help her body if the weight comes forward.
Right.
He's not going to be able to do anything. And if you need to spot someone that carefully, you have no business doing that weight in the first place. And so you can see she's got the proper squat suit on. She's got her knee wraps on. She's got squat shoes. She's fully equipped to go for this lift.
This is another thing, bro. And I have mad respect for powerlifters. I actually have a powerlifter in my family. That dude can move a ridiculous amount of weight. It's incredibly cool, dudes who can squat that much. But me personally, bro, I feel like if it's got to get to the point where I got to turn into a fucking Iron Man, bro, I got to strap up my knees, strap up my elbows, put on a belt, all this. It's like, bro, what's the point? What are we doing here? Now, a squat belt, I get. And after I got hurt, I wasn't wearing a squat belt when I got hurt. And people told me, man, you should have been wearing a squat belt. And that probably would have saved you. And so I'm not too against a squat belt, and I'm not against doing heavy weight. But I'm just saying, man, there comes a point where it's like, when you need all this equipment, is this weight that you really should be attempting? Hey, I guess that's just the nature of the sport. So it is what it is.
But she's standing on a bunch of loose mats. She can't see her foot placement. And so she unracks the weight, just barely getting it off the pegs. Notice people on the sides. They're there to help spot and so on. There's a large crowd gathering, perhaps cheering her on. And so she begins to walk slowly backwards in order to get set for this weight. She puts her foot off of the mat and immediately she's starting to lose balance. Think of it.
Whoa.
It's 600 pounds and she's walking down and backwards. Imagine walking backwards.
Oh, I didn't even peep. When he said, I was looking at this mat, all of this mat back here. I didn't realize there was another mat that she had to get up on like a staircase. So she's coming down off of an elevated surface with 600 pounds on her shoulders. Dang, man, somebody got to put this coach in jail.
Down some steps with a weight on your back. How hard would that be? It's hard enough to lift that much weight and walk back even when the ground is level. Having to navigate mats that are placed above her so that she can unrack the weight. This was a disaster waiting to happen. She then moves her other foot back, but her foot doesn't completely
just
get
look
past.
At those legs, bro. The way how those legs, that don't look stable. She has that Bambi action going on.
Those mats, part of her foot.
Those big old legs, and hey, she earned them, right? But those big old legs, when those are looking shaky, you know you're in bad territory.
Is on the edge of the mat, and so her ankle, it starts to roll backwards. I personally have done thousands of squats.
I just peeped, bro. Yeah. You don't want to hit this. This with 600 pounds on your shoulders, bro. That you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that at all.
Of squats in the gym, and I have in fact rolled my ankle one time.
Really?
I had about 550 pounds, similar weight to this, on a level playing field, and I walked back. My ankle rolled, twisted my ankle, but do you know what the difference was? I had safety bars in place. I was doing...
You got, bro, that was the thing that said, I don't even know where I'd be right now. I'm telling you, I'm about to tell you all this story in an animated story time. But if it wasn't for the safety bars, bro, I don't even know if I'd be walking right now, man. This is not a game when you start squatting heavy, and this is way more weight than I was squatting. How do you not have up safety? I put my safety bars high, too. I don't want the weight getting caught when I'm already bent up like a pretzel. I want it to get caught really high.
The squat in a squat rack. And so when I lost my balance, I fell forward, but the safety racks, it caught the weights.
Thank God.
The bar slightly dented the safety racks. There was perhaps a little bit of a dent in the bar. But do you know what? Aside from having a twisted ankle, I was 100% fine. If I had no safety bar in place, imagine what could have happened. The weight would have come crushing down on me, 550 pounds. The most important thing is safety first. She is squatting outside of a safety rack. There's a bar in place to catch the weight, but it's only about this long. There's no way that is safe enough. Anyone unracking a weight is going to walk behind the bar. When you squat, no one squats that close to the rack. It's just not something that you do. And so this is not safe. It would be analogous to being a race car driver, going in a race car and not wearing your seatbelt. Would you ever do it?
Crazy.
Of course not. What if your coach said, no, you don't need your seatbelt. You're just going to race at 300 miles an hour. you wouldn't do it. Her ankle, it begins to twist. She starts to lose her balance.
It's
and
over.
At this point, the back spotter is unable to stop 600 pounds from leaning down on her neck.
Like, bro, what do you think? You're the Hulk? You're just going to bicep curl hold 600 pounds?
Did you really think he could do that? Shrug 600 pounds and catch it? If he were the strongest man in the world,
he couldn't do it.
He still couldn't do it. No. If the weight were perhaps 125 pounds, it wouldn't be a problem. He would hold like this. She could fall, he would hold the weight. His anterior delts, his shoulders would be plenty strong enough to do this. But with 600 pounds, it's not possible. Her ankle continues to roll. She begins to lean backwards. The weight is in front, and it gradually pushes pressure on her neck. It's 600 pounds. Who do you think is going to win? 600 pounds versus a 17-year-old female's neck. She had no chance. Instantly, she's no longer with us. It's a gruesome, devastating accident that should never have happened. What can you learn from this? Well, the first thing is always, and I mean always, have a proper spotting system in place. That is a squat rack. Some gyms don't have a squat rack. And so what do? Well, you don't lift maximum weight. You don't go for a 1-rep max. It's simply not safe enough. The risk of injury, it's way too far. The next thing you do, you never unrack a weight with a lift and walk back when the floor is uneven. It's ridiculous. You should never do it. Many people are going to blame the spotters, but in this situation, the spotter could have done nothing. The best spotter in the world, I don't think could have prevented this. If you're lifting weights, you lift weights at your own risk. I strongly recommend that you don't go for...
I would never want to put my life in the hands of somebody else, man. Never want to put my life in the hands of somebody else. If I'm benching or squatting super heavy weight, the kind of weight that can seriously injure you or kill you if something goes wrong, I need some kind of like safety bar catch system in place, because I don't care how big you look, how swole you are, how experienced you are in the gym. I'm just not going to trust you with my life, man. And so it's so tragic, such a tragedy that they even did this, man. How could you do this without safety bars? Because here's what would have happened. If there were safety bars, what it sounds like, right, is the bar came down, crushing down on her, and it just took her right to the floor. It took her right to the floor, 600 pounds dropped on her neck, bro. That's it. Game over. Lights out. But if there was a safety bar system, yeah, maybe she would have gotten a minor back injury. Maybe she rolled her ankle. You know, maybe it could have even still injured her to the point where she's got to take a lot of time off. But she would more than likely still be alive, still be able to walk around. You know what I'm saying? 17 years old, man. 17 years old. What a way to go.
1-rep PRs in the gym all the time. It's ego lifting. Even if you're a power lifter, this is still ego lifting. The weight is so heavy. And when you're using squat suits, knee wraps, and so on, you can lift far more weight than you ever thought possible. And so the rest of the body, it's not really made for it. So this can not only happen in the squats, could also happen in the bench press. If you're wearing elbow sleeves, for example, and slingshot wraps, I've seen people lifting, for example, 700 pounds on the bench press for reps. Yeah. What happens if it rips? What happens if you get out of its groove? You're bench pressing 700 pounds and you don't have the safety rack in place. Do you really want to trust your spotter to catch 700 pounds before?
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So, guys, that's the big moral of this story. Big takeaway. If you're going to chase PRs and lifting heavy, and look, I'm a fan of lifting heavy. I'm actually back in a lifting heavy season. I go back and forth between doing more bodybuilding focused workout routines where hypertrophy is the goal and trying to get jacked is the goal. And then sometimes I just want to start lifting heavy, and that's where I'm at right now, taking my time. But one thing's for sure is you're not going to catch me squatting over body weight. You're not going to catch me benching over a certain amount without safety bars in place, because it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's not. But hey, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, peace out.